brothers and sisters. Pleasure to be here again with you. And we want to talk about today. I've been giving you facts on these agents under Minister Farrakhan. I've been giving you a lot of facts. So we're gonna concentrate on circumstantial too as well. I've given you the facts, but we want to talk circumstantial too. And one thing you have to notice about the white man is that he will convict you on what he does already. Very same thing that he does, he will convict you on it. So we want to be talking about that today. And brothers and sisters, as you know, we've been going non-stop because we have to catch up from the entire 7 days that we were set behind, so that we can finish out now 2.5 weeks. Well, we'll be meeting every day, and then after that, you and I will be meeting at least three times a week, because we have a whole lot to get out. And it's important that we set the stage, the basis, especially for those regular supporters, that we set the stage and set the basis of our argument, because we have to know today, and we have to lay it down fast, that our purpose and the purpose of sellouts are totally different. The purpose of anyone that is not concerned about black nationalism on a local, a state, a national, or international scale is not on your side. So you have to know that. And it's very important that I put this out before you. You have to know it, because if you don't know it, you're finished. And this is the reason why we have to talk about it. You know, you can talk about the top of a problem, but you'll never get to the root of a problem until or rather get to the source of the problem, unless you get to the root of the problem. So you and I have to get to the root of it all in order to understand where we are, how we got here, what the expectation of our oppressor is, and what his end game is. And the minute that we understand what his end game is, then we'll begin to understand what we must do in the history of who he is, what he has been to us, what he has done to us, how we got here, and what happened when we arrived here, and what the system that he has us in, and what we must do to get out of the system. We have some work to do. So we have to know him, and we already know him. That's why we've been building a foundation. We've been building a foundation. Peace be unto you, brother M5. Peace be unto you. So we've been building a foundation, building it up, so that you will know beyond a doubt what the white man is, his coons that are helping him, and everything. We want you to know beyond a doubt who this devil is, where he comes from, so that we can know who his coon is and what their intention is. One thing you have to know about a dog, and I'm going to tell you, if you're not from the country, if you haven't ever lived on a farm, then you've never seen the real duty of a dog. The real duty of a dog is not really for showcase. That's the white man's duty. But for the survivor, for the gorilla, for the Minuteman, the dog is to keep watch of your land, of your house, of your possessions. The watchdog is to keep watch, so that if anyone comes that doesn't belong, that they can take him out. Now, there are other dogs that are raised against you and I. Peace, Sister Donna. Certainly happy to see you here. There are other dogs that are raised, two-legged dogs, that breed four-legged dogs that attack you and I. You have to know that. And even if I didn't tell you, you would still know. Because You and I, the situation that we're in is getting worse every day. Every day. Every day. And brothers and sisters, you got to know it. And shame on me if I don't tell you that if you haven't gotten, or if you're not getting an army together, I'm not talking about some army that's going to march around the country without the magazines and their weapons. I'm not talking about any group, Huey P. Newton, New Black Panther Party, or otherwise, who are going to play the facade as if they are a military organization. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about an army of Minutemen and Minutewomen that are going to protect African Americans. And that's the reason why you should be a member of the African American Defense League. And I tell you that because it doesn't matter in the African American Defense League. It doesn't matter where you're from. It doesn't matter what your class is, your social status. We don't have you jumping through hoops or anything like that. The only thing we tell you is to be wise enough to own a gun, to be wise enough to train your children and your wife in the art of self-defense, to teach them how to watch, Even Jesus said you have to watch as well as pray. So teach them how to watch, teach them how to pray, and that's P-R-A-Y and P-R-E-Y, because they're going to have to know both in order to be a part of the revolutionary life. And they should also know how to shoot a gun, how to aim it, and how to defend themselves. And I tell you why. Because if that man come in the house to kill you, he's not going to leave your children or your wife alive to be able to tell the story. And so, brothers and sisters, you and I have to understand why we're here. I'm not just meeting every night only because I love you, because I do love you. That's not the only reason, but that is among the chief reasons, but it's not the only reason. The other reason that we meet is so I can keep in front of you and keep the teachings before you that you and I are on a plantation. You and I are on a desert land. We've been deserted on this land. You and I are in a place not because we decided to be here, not because we were born here, but our ancestors were caught and enslaved and brought here. And that's the thing that you and I must be constantly cognitive of. And that's the thing that I want to tell you. It's the thing that you should know. And shame on me, brothers and sisters. Shame on me if I don't tell you. Because you and I are certainly in danger in this country. You and I are in trouble in this country. You and I are the victims of democracy in this country. That's what you and I are. There's no getting around it. There's no getting around it. That we are trapped in this land. And proof of which, if you don't believe that we're trapped, then show me one race that has to have a passport, because the white man don't have to have a passport. He can always get around a passport. As a matter of fact, he has so many ways that he's gotten around a passport. But for you and I, if we're going somewhere, no matter where we're going, we have to have a rite of passage. And I'm telling you, that is the reason why they want every black person in America with an ID. That's why they want him with a license. Not the same reason that the white man is required to have a license. He's required to have a license because he's white. But I want you to understand that you're required to have a license because you're black. And you being black, I want you to understand that you being black is not the same as the white man being white, because he has white privileges. And I just want to set the foundation, then we're going to get on the subject, because I'm finding out more and more every day that it's important to constantly explain the standard I've taken, the foundation, because there are very few people that will follow. Now, today, and I want you to understand that it was exceedingly important that Farrakhan followed the philosophy of L. Ron Hubbard. This was exceedingly important because the philosophy of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad is too militant for a coward, and it's too militant for a turncoat. You can't do it. It's not something that the weak man can carry. If he's weak, he can bear it. And we see that this teaching, this training of nationalism amongst the Farrakhan Muslim is white nationalism. Anytime that you, and I want you to understand this, you have to understand it. Anytime that you yield to an administration that is white, anytime you yield to an administration that is white, then you are focusing and supporting white nationalism. White nationalism, that's what you're supporting. That's your focus. Excuse me, brothers and sisters. And so I tell you today that you and I have to be concerned. Today we're going to talk about another agent named Nuri Muhammad. And I'm going to tell you how ridiculous the white man and how sloppy he's getting in his shrewd tactics to put up men in the black community that you and I can look toward as a measuring stick. He's getting sloppy in it because, and I want to explain this to you now, and I want you to pay close attention, brothers and sisters. Close attention, because what I'm about to tell you is going to rock you from the crown of your head to the sole of your feet. It's going to rock you. Because when you really get it, really get what I'm saying, you really get what God has shown me, then you're going to be well on your way. There will never be another coon or agent, provocateur that the white man can put in front of you to mislead you like the ones he's been misleading you with so far. Because your eyes are becoming open. And that is the only reason that I'm able to do this show, is that your eyes are becoming open. Had not your eyes become open, had not you become open to see it, had not it been the time that God had set for us, I wouldn't be able to tell you anything. But God does things in perfect time. God does things in his own time. He's not controlled by the economy. He's not controlled by racism. He's not controlled by discrimination. He's not controlled by dispensation. But God comes in his own time. And he may not come when you want him, but he's right on time when he comes. Isn't that what our grandparents, our ancestors, the elderly have told us? Isn't that what they told us, brothers and sisters? That when God comes on time. And it's because of God that I'm here to tell you this truth. Only God. I can't take any credit for the timing or anything like that. You can't take any credit for the support. You can be thankful to give it, but you have to know that the same God that led me here was the same God that led you here. And I've heard white people all week, just to let you know. You can go on some of the videos that I've done in the past, all the way up to 25 years ago. Because I've been out that long and longer. I've been speaking since 1986 with Dr. Khalid Muhammad. I was 12 years of age when Ella Little Collins met with us in Tunica, Mississippi to extend to us the charter her brother Minister Malcolm X had, called the Organization for Afro-American Unity. And this is thing that the white man's not going to tell you. He's not going to tell you this. He's not going to tell you. So I tell you, so you'll know, because I know he's not going to tell you. It's the thing, he doesn't even want you to know the truth. That's what he does. That's what I'm trying to tell you. The white man keeps the truth from you so you don't know it. Because he already knows that the minute that you have the truth, you'll be free. And doesn't the word say that the truth will make you free? Isn't that what the word says, brothers and sisters? That the truth will make you free. And the truth will indeed free you and I from this bondage. Because the minute that we receive the truth, it is the end of the white man. A lot of people don't believe that, but it's the truth. The minute that the cover is pulled back, then it's the end of the white man, the end of him as we know it. And the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad put it in the best words, because he said there'll be a remnant of them left for us to observe and know the devils that have caused us all of the trouble, all of the pain, and all the suffering that you and I have been through. And I'm sure you would agree that the white man has made me and you suffer. He has had me and you suffering the entire time. The entire time. So, brothers and sisters, peace, brother Jason. Peace, brother Jason. Brothers and sisters, you and I have to get to the root of it all. Get to the root of it all. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and thumbs up, brothers and sisters. We need the attention. And if you thumbs down, we need that too. Any disagreement, we need that too. But just visit with us for a while. And so, Nuri Muhammad. And I got circumstantial. Peace, brother Dallin. I have circumstantial and physical proof. And this is for all the mature people. You got to be mature to hear this knowledge. You know, you can't talk to a baby same way you would talk to an adult. And my heart goes out to many ministers that are under Minister Louis Farrakhan, because I know that they're still in the heavy rain and the haze. I already know it. Already know it. And the rank and file Muslim, they're obedient. They follow orders. They're obedient. They don't question anything. I remember when I was that way. Even before, until I rose with Dr. Khalid Muhammad, I remember when I was that way. When I was told to do something, yes, sir, minister, and wouldn't question it. Because my religious sincerity made me loyal. My religious sincerity. Well, you got to have religious sincerity, spiritual sincerity, and you've got to have some wisdom, godly wisdom, to know what is expedient, to know what is lawful, to know what is good for your community, and to know what is good for you. And brothers and sisters, when we look, excuse me, brothers and sisters, when we look at Brother Nuri, who for all intents and purposes done a great job, that's sort of bothering me. You need on camera before you. Respect. When we see Brother Nuri, who's done a good job as a minister, obviously a bright brother. There's no doubt, obviously a bright brother who came from a situation where he was dealing drugs and involved in a lot of bad practices. He changed his life around, and I'm thankful for that. Because Muhammad's blueprint, even mistaught, is better than the plan that the white man has for us. It's better than the programming that the white man has for us. And I say this, and I will always come out and say good, because I know how it is to be under the haze of a teaching that seems right. But I want you to understand that you have among you an agent and a police guided operation that was construed to keep you and I blind, and another individual that was inducted as a agent of COINTELPRO to further dissipate a false teaching of Islam as it relates to the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Remember, Farrakhan's chief purpose as an agent was to dismantle the Nation of Islam. Remember, Jesse Jackson, in the Civil Rights Movement, his chief purpose was to dismantle the Organization for Civil Rights, which he succeeded in doing. He succeeded. So you have to see that an agent's job is to perfectly dismantle an organization. If they're going to kill, their job is to perfectly set an A and B plan for assassination, after which they'll take pictures and take it back. Proof of which, when Dr. Khalid Muhammad had been poisoned in Marietta, Georgia, and all you have to do is check the record for it, then Michael Muhammad, an agent, which we've not seen to this date afterward, Philip X, another agent that we've not seen to date since, were taking pictures of the body. Strange habits for black nationalists. And several pictures to send these pictures back. So, even to the same incident, and I have to say this, because I want to say this to be able to explain the coincidences surrounding Nuri Muhammad. I said then that this is strange activity. Prior to the death of Dr. Khalid Muhammad, I said the same thing about Hashim Mzinga and Malik Zulu Shabazz. I said it to Steve Coakley, who I was working with. Dr. Khalid made that my assignment. And I said it to Dr. Khalid as I was an advisor and assistant to him in his private inner circle. And this is no secret, because to the black community, I've been saying it ever since it happened. I've been saying it because I was there from the beginning and there at the end, the very end, when Dr. Khalid Muhammad was there. I served him to the very end. And when he was killed, I was even on my way to Marietta, Georgia, fulfilling some plans that he had. So he intended to be around. But he didn't see these agents. Didn't see them clearly. And when he found out they were agents, then he said, keep your enemies close, or rather keep your friends close, but your enemies closer, so he could keep an eye on them. And this is a fact. And you can go back and see it in all the papers, on the talk shows, even on Facebook. I stayed loyal prior to Facebook, talking about the very same thing. It was Steve Coakley and I that did the investigation on the death of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., when we pointed out that the government on 10 different occasions had interfered with the campaigns of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and would have killed him much earlier than they did in Memphis. They would have killed him much earlier. For instance, in 1964, the meeting with Minister Malcolm X, the 1964 speaking engagement where Minister Malcolm comes to speak at the King's camp. And King happened to be in jail and federally protected, so they weren't able to do it. So I'm telling you from direct investigation that we found the same findings. You're going to find it. You're going to find it. Circumstantially, and eventually you're going to see when it all come out. I told you earlier on that Mustafa Muhammad moved like a Fed, like a policeman. I told you that. You can't be a part of anything and not take on that spirit, brothers and sisters. That's what I'm trying to tell you. You can't be. When you look at Nuri looked like a cop, an undercover agent. Undercover agent. Looks like a narc. When you look at him. Now remember, he was selling narcotics. What do you think prior to his reinvention of his life? What do you think the police does when they arrest some of these guys that show promise? He take them, he clean them up, turn them around, and place them after he's washed them squeaky clean, on the surface at least. He take them and he drop them among us to do his dirty work. I'm just telling you. I'm telling you. You ask any drug dealer, you ask any pimp that will be honest, and they'll tell you that this is the truth. You watch the life of those that are caught in the drug game, and the only thing they can do for the federal government when they're caught, whether it be the DEA, whether it be the FBI, or whether it be the CIA, the only thing that they can do is make sure that they distort and pervert anything that's going to be good for the black man. Look at Rick Ross, one of the greatest drug dealers this world has ever seen, because the federal government gave him the airplanes, the federal government that gave him the chemical makeup of crack rock. It was the federal government that helped him distribute millions of kilos of cocaine and crack cocaine into the black community. So it's the government. Remember, it's the government. And anytime in America, any black person is going to be successful, and they seek to control black people with finances, money, or any kind of currency, you'll find out, brothers and sisters, that it is the government that imbues. And so, brothers and sisters, this is what I'm telling you, that the government has a hand in every organization, black organization, that you and I seem to think is successful. And it's their job to create these circumstances so that they're able to control you and I, keep us under control, keep us in chains, and keep us on the leash. It's their job. Brothers and sisters, don't forget the thumbs up, don't forget to like, and don't forget to subscribe. We appreciate it. It's good for the show. And so, when you and I see, when we have come to the knowledge that it's the government that have been beefing up these organizations, and when it is clear to us that we have an understanding, then the government goes on around behind our backs, switch up the game, polish the same tricks, put a different player in with a different message, and lo and behold, to control another mass, another people, another mass of black people in the black generation. And all you have to do is check. And what is the reason for this? Because Minister Farrakhan is all but done, brothers and sisters. He can hardly get out. He can hardly make a speech without sitting down. He's tired. He's worn out. And they have to put someone in place. And really, they're scrambling right now. You and I have to understand that they're scrambling. They really don't have anyone that they can really put in place to blind you and I anymore. And if you look, even they're meddling in the black organization as it relates to Minister Farrakhan. The Nation of Islam under Minister Farrakhan has begun to dwindle down in membership, has begun to weaken in its leadership. And there's already right now those that want to fight for the number one position. It's already done. And so what you and I have to do, brothers and sisters, is sit back and observe. But at the same time, we have to be planning to build up watch in our community watch systems, community watch programs. And those programs are going to need soldiers and security men to protect our community. You and I are going to have to do these things ourselves, because we see that the police that belongs to the government was not created to save you or I. And you wonder why so many police are killing us. It's the job of the police to put down threats, to put down anything that threatens their national security, their national government, and their national income, and their national investments. And I say that because The white police was not created to protect you, brothers and sisters. We have to know it. And if you don't know this at that late date, then you're sadly mistaken. And I'm afraid for anyone that would seek the police, white police, as your friend, because they're not your friend. They've never been your friend, and they will never be your friend. They may smile and laugh at you on the surface. They may identify with the children, but it's no different than the cracker. And this is the white man that would crack the whip. It's no different than that cracker befriending the babies that came through, and it was his job to make them know that he was all right. So when they whip him, if he ever had to whip anybody, they wouldn't feel so bad because they feel that he was doing what he had to do, but he was still on their side. And this is how the white man's nationalism, how his religion, how his sociology, his psychology, his mental health is so closely woven in your mind that you're sick. Peace, King Pal. Peace, brother. And I want you to know that until you come to the knowledge of who the white man is and how you gotten here and what haze he has you under and what his game is, what his coons are, his goons, his sellout, his black necks, until you come to the knowledge of what is really going on, I want you to know that you're sick. You're in a haze. You're in a mental disturbance. You're in a mental storm until you find out who you are, what you are to this man, and how you got here, and what his intentions are for you. When you came out of slavery, I'm going to say this, and I'm going to get to it because I know that you're ready to hear about Nuri Muhammad. When you came out of slavery, you and I, when I say you and I mean the DNA of our ancestors, which are you and I. We are the result of our ancestors' DNA that is passed down through us, and that's why it's called ancestors. That's why it's called ancestors. That our ancestors lived through us, and they are the map to where we come from and our true authenticity. And what does that mean? That means that we are replicas of our fathers and our mothers. And you go back far enough, you'll find out that that same DNA and the same facial features and the same looks, the same characteristics and the same psychological and genetic traits that are in us can be traced all the way back to Africa, our motherland, because that's what you and I are. We're African. We're not African American. That is an insult to our intelligence and an insult to our condition. You and I are not Americans. We're African. We're not Americans. We're victims of American. When we don't have a system of democracy, but all we have is a system of hypocrisy, because you and I are victims of democracy. And you have to understand that. If you don't understand anything else, you have to understand that. And when you understand that the Constitution of the United States was built up so that the white man would be successful in oppressing you, when you understand that, then you understand that the Constitution of the United States was not made for you and I, but that the Constitution of the United States was made to oppress you and I for the sake of white people who are teaching a system of superiority and white supremacy against you and I. You and I have to get involved in understanding, as a local people, as a statewide people, as a municipality, as a national people in America, a national people that are in bondage. You and I have to understand what must be done, what time we're standing in, and how do we get out of here in the fall of America. And when I say the fall of America, it's because America is falling, and you can't see it yet, but you see small evidence of it, because every week the prices are going up. No matter what grocery store you go in, no matter what gas station you go to, no matter what land you want to purchase, you find that the prices are going up. You find that the taxes are going up. You find that the man can't even keep his promises on giving you loans to the SBA. He can't do it because the loans weren't originally made for you, and they're not made for you now. So you found that when people got PPE and some people got the EIDL loan, that there were millions of blacks that never got them. Why is that? You never got them because it wasn't intended for you anyway. But it was only intended to get enough out there to jumpstart the market that is still failing and can't do anything for you, and it can't do anything for me because it wasn't created for you anyway. And you have to understand that. When you understand that the market wasn't created for you because the Constitution wasn't created for you, that when it was written and established, you were busy being caught as slaves. When you understand that you are the stock, the main stock of the market that is falling because the man can't control you and can't oppress you anymore, not through free labor can he do this. He can't do it through bought paid labor. He can't do it through salary, and he even can't do it through governmental labor. Then you're finding out that you have to have your own plan to get out of this mess that the white man has put you in. And brothers and sisters, you and I are in a mess. And not only must we be aware of the white man, not only must we be aware of the white man or be aware of the white man, we have to be aware that this white man that has been oppressing us in a genetic line that has been oppressing us also has coons that will continue to do his dirty work. And this is often seen in history. Peace, Brother Ronnie Michelle. Excuse me, Sister Ronnie Michelle. Peace. And so you have to understand that on the system of the plantation, you always had the house slave and the field slave. There's no getting around it. And I've told you before that the white man doesn't do anything new. There's nothing new that he does. He'll never do anything new. You'll find that he's using the same tricks in 2022 that he was using in 1622. Same tricks. You'll find that he's using the same tricks that he used yesterday, and these are the same tricks that he's using today. And he doesn't change. The game doesn't change, only the players. Because when one white generation dies out, that desired white superiority and white supremacy and teach white racist supremacist religion, such as Christianity, you'll find that others are born to fill those roles. Others are born into those vocations. Others are born to teach those things. For instance, you look at the public schools. The public schools weren't made for us. The public school wasn't made to educate us. The public schools were made to miseducate us. And the public schools were made to fill the prisons. And this is the reason why you see today that the public schools have failed. And all you have to do is look at the schools and you'll know that they failed. They haven't just failed today, but the public schools have failed since over the last 90 years. They were on their way back into the grave, back into the tomb where they came from, because they teach you a dead knowledge. And that's what I want to tell you today, that you and I, as a people, have to wake up in unity. But right now, you have many of us that are asleep, like Lazarus in the grave was asleep. And Lazarus laid in that grave until he could be raised up to a perfect perpendicular line, that he could be raised up with a perfect knowledge that will cause him to rise out of the tomb of his oppression, out of the tomb of his oppressor, and take hold of his life. So he was raised from death to life to live forever. God's will is that you and I would live. That's God's will. That's God's will, that you and I would live. And the white man has it, as our sister has shown us. The white man has a supremacist indoctrination that keeps us down. That keeps us down. You see, his teaching is not to keep us up. It's to keep us down. His teaching is not to give us long life. It's to cut us down in a short life. And you wonder why anytime that the white man is in your midst, you seem to be doing bad. Brothers and sisters, just like the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad told Minister Malcolm years ago, and many Muslims years ago, When you get some coffee and that coffee is black, it's hot, the caffeine is high, the effects of the caffeine is high, and that coffee can do the very thing that it needs to do for you, and that's to kick in, give you some energy, and make you go a little further. It's a natural stimulant for you so you can continue to do the work. But brothers and sisters, the minute you add some sugar to that coffee, something happens. It takes the power away from the coffee. Now the caffeine is still there. The caffeine is still there, but with the sugar being there, especially artificial sugar, it tends to have a type of dopamine that can make you easily fall asleep. So the caffeine is still there. Your sugar can't totally kill the caffeine because the coffee is still black. But the minute that you put some cream in that coffee, then the whole position of the coffee is changed. The DNA of the coffee is changed. I hope you're hearing me. The DNA of the coffee begins to do differently than it would had it not been mixed with sugar, had it not been mixed with cream. And the minute you get somebody white in a black organization which is running hot, doing the job that it could do, and ready to stand on its own, something that is able to face the oppression that we're dealing with, I don't care where it is. All you need is one spot where the revolution has changed an area, where the revolution can take it over. The white man knows that once you change that one area, that you have the ability to change many other areas. If you look at Atlanta, Georgia, there are black people. They have the ability with this power that they have in Atlanta, Georgia. If they will stand together to stand against the state that they have there, they will be able to change Georgia overnight. If they will stop selling out to the white man and stop living a European life, if they stop practicing the philosophy of the Negro pain, they'd be able to change Atlanta, Georgia overnight. If they were willing to arm themselves and fight the opposition, they could literally change it overnight and nothing could be done about it. Nothing at all could be done about it if they would do it. If they would do it. But black people that don't know any better will have white people to come amongst them and organize them, sit among them, and even and they believe. See, when you're asleep, you believe that the white man, when he's hanging around you, he's around you because he sees you the way that you see him. But this is not true, brothers and sisters. The white man don't see you the way he sees himself. He sees himself as superior, and he sees you as a threat to his superiority. And anytime the white man see you as a threat to his superiority, then he'll first of all move around you himself, then always bring some old sellout coonish nigger to come around you and go talking that old love thy neighbor sweet talk, where he know that the man is shooting you down every day, every week, every hour, every second of your life, every month, every year of your life. And so, as our sister Rainey is telling us, the revelation was the beginning of our revolution. And yes, sister, I believe that. And we've got to get it out. See, because when your eyes open, this is revelation. This is something being revealed to you that the white man otherwise had covered. But you look today. If you look today and look the weekend that just passed, this Juneteenth is different than any Juneteenth you've ever experienced in your life. This Juneteenth is different than any Juneteenth you've ever visited in your life, that you've ever seen in your life. Because people are getting there and they're remembering what really happened in their different areas in Juneteenth. And what are we saying? If you look on June the 19th, 1865, which is the date for Juneteenth, if you'll look, you find that after this quote unquote emancipation that President Lincoln, this so-called emancipation that President Lincoln had set up, you'll find that when the black man who had all the labor knowledge went and built his city almost overnight in different places they were setting up. They were even setting up on the plantation, and this is the reason that this government instituted sharecropping, because they knew that the black man is one of the most intelligent, one of the most wisest, and one of the most aggressive workers that they've ever visited in their life. And the white man knows it. You see, a lazy person will always know when the benefits of someone who's aggressive in their work and in their science. Proof of which, if the white man hadn't enslaved you and brought you here to America, then he would have never been able to come here and make an America, because you had all the knowledge, you had all the science. And I'm not just saying that. For all of the disbelievers, history says that. And that's why it rocks me to my core when I hear black people say, well, white people have never done anything. Our sister is so helpful tonight for us, and she's right on the money. Just like Black Lives Matter, BLM.org. If you look, sold out to the white supremacists, and I'll go even further than that. I'll go even further than that. And black militias sold out too. But I'll go even further than that. Black Lives Matter has been a part of the opposition. If you'll look, anytime you see a black organization pushing the logic of LGBT and the head of that black organization is LGBT, then you'll find out that this organization is run, owned, and operated by the white man, and that their money are owned and operated by the white man. You'll find that out. You'll find it out. Because the white man's job is racism, fascism. He'll put it before you. He'll put it before you each time. Racism, fascism, and lesbianism, the white man puts it before you. Look at the civil rights movement, and you'll see today that it was nothing more than a sexual revolution. Why? Because you see that today the LGBT have more rights than black people and have all the rights than black people have today. Black people don't have any civil rights. We have a constitution that was written. We have a Title VII that was manipulated to keep you and I oppressed, to make you feel free. And I want you to know, brothers and sisters, that psychological slavery, psychological plantationism is more powerful than any physical plantationism that you can feel in your life. Psychological bondage is more oppressive than any physical bondage that you can face in your life. Because the psychological bondage, brothers and sisters can't put their finger on when they're concentrating on the physical bondage that they're in, or feel that they're no longer in. So the white man will never put anyone in front of you, brothers and sisters. He'll never put anyone in front of you that he can't use. And when he put the house slave in the house, it was for the house slave to keep up the house. He wouldn't put the field slave in the house, because that field slave, remember, he's in the field. He doesn't like the master. He's praying that the master die. He's praying that the master's house burn down. He's praying that the plantation rise up against the master. He's praying for the death of the house Negro. So he's not somebody that the master wants in his house. The house Negro doesn't want the field slave in his house. But he wants to keep the field slave in the field and keep the house slave in the house. Just like the white man, he doesn't want to have anything to do with that field slave that's going to damage his benefits of what he's getting in the house. And you have to know that. Brothers and sisters, don't forget to like and subscribe and thumbs up, please. We can definitely use it. And so, brothers and sisters, you find out that in 1865, they took the mulatto and put them in charge the same way they did in Haiti. The same way they did in Haiti. They put the mulatto in charge. They put the mulatto in charge so they can keep the field slave in Haiti under oppression. But you see, America is failing in this blueprint. His blueprint is washing off the paper. And I'll tell you why. Because the promises that he made to his mulatto counterpart, he can't even keep it. He can't keep it. And the white man is forced to go for his own survival today. What do you mean, brother? I'm glad you asked. The white man who has put the house slave in charge can no longer subsidize the house slave when his economy is falling. Is that right or wrong? And so when we see that his economy is falling, then he can't keep employing these house slaves. And as a result of that, you see the house slaves get bolder and bolder because the man can't pay him, the man can't subsidize him, so he has no choice but to come among us. And here's the thing, that this house slave, when he come among us, we have to know that he can't be trusted. So the white man in his desperation has sprinkled, literally sprinkled, house slaves among field slaves that are pretending before you and I, that are hoodwinking us, bamboozling us, leading us astray, running us amok, tucking us to toe and tying us to tuck, and hanging us in trees, and doing the will of the master, doing the will of the master to keep you and I oppressed. You have to understand that, because if you don't understand it, you're finished. The white man is not using himself anymore. He's not riding out with even police anymore. He's not even using the Ku Klux Klan anymore to do his dirty work. He's taking some old homogenized black man, putting him in place to have him to misuse, mislead, mistreat you, hoodwink you, bamboozle you, and run you astray, and run you amok. And all you have to do is look at it. Brothers and sisters, he hasn't changed the design. What he was doing in 1865, he's still doing in 2005. The same thing that he's been doing in 2015 is the same thing that he's doing in 2022. He continues to bring them before us, the same way he brought Barack Obama before us. Brothers and sisters, we're excited. And if you go back and look at some of the earlier tapes that I've had before it was YouTube, those tapes that were loaded, old tapes that were loaded on YouTube, you'll see that I was saying the same thing then that I'm saying now. And Barack Obama, what did we get from him? We didn't get anything. He said he would give us reparation. All he gave us was degradation. He said that he would give us reparations, and the Indians got reparations, and every other group got reparations except you and I. Why is that, brothers and sisters? Because he himself is a house slave that couldn't even get the confidence of the Democrat or the Republican, which you and I know that the Democrat is just a demon Dixiecrat, and the Republican is just a con of the Republic that have continued to mislead our people ever since John Paul Jones was welcome in the Navy. And so the field slaves are used as an example of degradation. Our sister knows. She's on the money because we have to concentrate. We can't concentrate on the house slave because we already know that he himself belongs to the man. And he's going to save that system at all costs. Brothers and sisters, if you will look, if you will pay attention to two things, our sister is on the money today. If you pay attention to what happened in Johannesburg, South Africa, when that colonization had fallen, physically fallen. I say physically fallen. I should say constitutionally fallen or socially fallen, but it hadn't, and even psychologically fallen. But it hadn't fallen internationally, because you and I could see that the Hutu and the Watusi were about to go to war. Isn't that right? Because the Watusi, which was the African word for white in South Africa, the Watusi were put in charge. When the white man saw he was losing power, the Watusi was put in charge to keep that power and to keep the black man in his place. He was put in charge for that. But once that white man had lost power and he lost control of his economy and he couldn't give them the money they needed to keep that place, then these Africans started killing all the Watusis in sight. Every time a Hutu saw a Watusi, they were chopping them up because they were determined not to go back into that kind of slavery. And if you look, America's at the same point where now our eyes are open and we're seeing it. We're seeing for ourselves these demons that the devil, the white devil, has left in place are nothing but destruction for the black man that's talking nationalism, pan-Africanism, and talking black economy. and talking black liberation theology. When they hear us speak, they're just as afraid as the white man because their system depended on the white man. And when the white man has fully fallen, and it's happening, brothers and sisters. You're seeing it already. You're seeing it already. That the white man has to get out of Africa. He's been forced out of Africa. You're seeing it already. The Africans are saying today that to get the white man out of Africa, and they're not showing you on the media. They won't show you on the strong media. But all you got to do is do your research. And black militias are running through there, putting white people in jail the same way they did in South Africa, the same way they did in Johannesburg, South Africa. And you'll begin to see that happen here. You'll begin to see it. That black people will be elected by black national representation, that black people will begin to put their own people in office with a vengeance because they're tired of the white man misusing and abusing them and oppressing them. You'll begin to see it. You'll begin to see it. Peace, brother R.A. Facts TV. You'll begin to see it. But like our sister is saying, you got to speak to the mass. Speak to the mass about the massacres among us and who are doing them, like Elaine. And brothers and sisters, this trained that she would say that because me and I went down to Elaine to speak. And brothers and sisters, we went down there, and it was one of the most beautiful meetings I ever seen in my life. And I'm telling you, remember, black people over these Juneteenth meetings and these church meetings they're having now. You can even go into the churches and see it. That black people have had enough of old Charlie and old Charlie's hand. And you know Charlie's hand is that coon that would do Charlie's will. Black people are had enough. And you'll see changes, little changes, happening all around the country. All you have to do is pay attention to these changes. Brothers and sisters, don't forget to thumbs up, like, and subscribe, please. I appreciate your participation, and we want to be able to reach out to more people. And you're doing such a great job that after July the 15th, we'll be able to go to 3 days a week, and we'll be able to have very successful shows. So certainly continue to thumbs up and like and continue to watch. Because I can't do it without you, and we have to do it together. The same way that we have to take over this country. And we're going to have to do it together. And a lot of, right now, when I say that, a lot of brothers and sisters really don't understand what I'm saying. When I say that you and I are going to have to take over this country. The white man is losing this country. The white man is losing it. And he don't know what to do. I already know that when he put us on Facebook, it's just so he can hear everything being said. I know it. I know it. And he has to keep it on record file. But it's the fact that he has to keep it on record file. There's nothing he can do against it. So it doesn't matter what agents are watching. It doesn't matter if the white man is watching himself. The worst powder keg that you can deal with is when black people decide to get together after a strong national representation and a strong national revelation and begin to start the revolution and revolt that's coming for the white man. It won't be long. It won't be long. Mark my word. Mark my words. It won't be long. Soon you'll see the white man. When you see him running out of Africa, which he's doing today, soon you'll begin to see him give up power here in America. And you watch. Just in 2021, I don't know if you're aware of this, but if you're not, then I'm going to give it to you. I'm going to tell you. In 2021, I want you to know that Juneteenth was made a national holiday. Biden didn't do this because he loved black people. He did it because he see that they're losing control of black people. And when the white man loses control of you, the first thing he wants to make you feel like is that he's your friend. All you have to do is get united. Get united and start talking about the history of slavery and everything that the white man has done to you. The first thing you'll see is the same thing I saw in Elaine. Very same thing I saw in Elaine at Juneteenth. You had white folks coming out trying to hug black folks like this was going to finally solve the trouble that he's been causing us all our lives, ever since he put our ancestors in chains and brought us to this place. The first thing he does is try to hug you, as if that hug is going to take care of all of the bloodshed and all the violence and all the evil that he's done to us throughout the years, throughout the decades, throughout the centuries. He come out trying to hug you to try to say everything is all right, trying to stuff that white Jesus down your throat, which is nothing more than religious dogma. You better hear me, brothers and sisters. I said the white racist Jesus, a Kenny G Jesus, is nothing more than religious dogma, a religion that you had no choice in following, because the man gave you Christianity when he got you out of the boat. Those of you that were left alive, those of you that didn't jump overboard, he got you out of that boat and spewed you up on this land and stuffed Christianity down your throat. Most of the brothers and sisters that came here, you had Christianity inside of Africa. Oh, yes, you did. You had Christianity and at least 100 other different religions that were branches of Islam, Christianity, and other African Mayotic faiths right there in Africa. And not only that, you were Pentecostal because you attended all of these studies, because all of them were different religious studies and perspectives that you had in Africa. There was no division amongst you. There was no division amongst you. That's right, sister. They make it a federal holiday to keep you under control, to keep you humble. Just like that black coffee. It was good when it was black and hot. It did its job. It kept you awake. But the minute you put cream in it, it made you sleepy. The minute you put sugar in it, it made you heavy in the bottom. And you found out that a coffee that at one time had gave you energy and gave you pep and made you stand up would wake you up. The same coffee with that sugar and that cream in it would put you to sleep. And that's why we say in our motto, black people, the conscious brothers and sisters, black coffee, no sugar, no cream, please. We say in the African American Defense League that absolutely no white man can be involved. You can't join us. You can't even get involved. You can't join us. You can't do anything for us as we come together, because you can't fight a war against the enemy with the enemy in your camp. I'll say it and I'll say it again. You can't fight war against the enemy with the enemy in your camp. All you have to do is look at Black Lives Matter. Look at Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter was a powerful organization. After the white man had fully infiltrated, then they became sleepy. They became powerless. Yes, brother, I'm going to speak about Nuri. I'm glad you're here, brother. You're welcome to the show. You're welcome to the show. But brother Nuri is somebody that the white man has put in front of us, just like Minister Farrakhan. Farrakhan's children, that's what I call them because they're student ministers. And I still don't understand that. How can you be in the ministry of Islam, the Nation of Islam, for over 3 years and be considered a student minister? But this is something that Farrakhan, who is part of the Black Boule, who is part of the house of the white Jew and the white nationalist, who has been taught and trained to teach us a knowledge that will not allow us to grow in independence, black nationalism, faith, and Pan-Africanism. Nuri Muhammad has been put before us to keep us down. The brother had written a book. I was looking at this. He had written a book. And if you haven't gotten this book, I've read it. It's a good book. It's a very good book. The brother had written a book called A Well-Made Man. You got to get it. He has a relationship book too. You got to get that book. It's important. A well-made man is a soldier, a thinker, a disciplined man who can handle himself, who is committed to being a savior of his people and an example of what salvation looked like for our people. And it's a good book. It's a good book for Christians, good Christians. It's a good book for watered down Muslims because it tells you how to be at peace. It tells you how to forgive, and it tells you to be docile for the white man. Now, this book has sold millions of copies. Millions of copies. No, he hasn't been. He hasn't been in the Nation of Islam very long. Nuri hasn't. He's been in. He's been in. He's been in at least 10 years, but he hasn't been in very long. Not very long. As some that have been in 25 years or 30 years, he hadn't been in very long. And when I say hadn't been in very long, I want you to understand this, brothers and sisters. I mean to the place where you have had the knowledge of the teaching of Minister Farrakhan as it relates to Elijah Muhammad. Now, anyone that came in the nation, I want you to understand this. Anyone who came in the nation after 1991, anyone that came in the nation after 1991 has received a different knowledge opposed to those that were taught prior to 1985. Why do I say that? Why do I say that? Now, I say that because in 1985 and 1986 is when Farrakhan said that white Muslims would be allowed in the Nation of Islam. I want you to understand this. I want you to understand this. And so the first thing that he did after he said it is he began to get the white Mexican out of Texas. And all you have to do is check this. I was there. I was there. And all you have to do is check this. You may be right, brother. You may be right, brother. Brian Thoughts. You may be right, but he's still under that teaching. So you may be right. I calculated some years. You may be right. You may be right. It may have been 30 years. I was in 1986, so it may have been 30 years. It may have been. When I think about it, it may have been 30 years. But under this teaching, and I've heard Nuri mention it. That there's the philosophy of forgiveness. This is what's being taught. That when Farrakhan began to teach this logic of forgiveness, that he was telling them about Elijah Muhammad and how Elijah Muhammad said, forgive the white man. I don't read that anywhere in Message to the Black Man. I don't read it anywhere in the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad's teaching. Anywhere, I don't read it. And you won't find it anywhere. You won't find it anywhere. And when you began to teach, because miseducation happened in generations. Miseducation happens in generations. When you begin to change your teaching, you'll find that you can mislead according to the generations. You can mislead a whole generation of black people. You can mislead them, an entire generation of black people, and that's the whole plan. The whole plan of Farrakhan's teaching is to misuse black people. His whole purpose. And I want y'all go on, and we want to keep all the statements and questions of our brother Brian Thoughts. We're gonna keep all the questions and statements. I love the activity. Because the only time that you know that you're hitting a nerve is when they start coming on lying. But they don't have the truth, so they'll come on lying. So I'll let him. I will say he may be right. I will always say that. I will never say a person is totally wrong. I would say that he may be right. But all you got to do is go back and see what Farrakhan is taught in 1985 and 1986. And Brother Brian, you may want to research this yourself. Farrakhan said that white people would be allowed in the Nation of Islam. He also said that in his teaching, when Jesus first came to the Jews. When he wasn't accepted by the Jews, then he went to the Gentiles. First, salvation was brought to the Jews, and then after that, salvation was for everyone. And that's what Farrakhan said, and that's how confused he is. And Nuri is teaching this same thing. And if you notice, he'll also have Nuri and Wesley defending him in the killing of Minister Malcolm X. He'll have them defending him in this killing and set up them being on shows. And they can never go anywhere Farrakhan doesn't allow them to go. Brothers and sisters, I'm telling you, because he's a control addict. He's a control addict, so they'll never go anywhere that Farrakhan doesn't allow them to go. I'm just telling you, I'm giving you the point. And you can research this. And our brother, Brother Brian, he's under the haze. He don't even know it. Nuri Muhammad, I heard him say that if the Nation of Islam, I heard him say this, that if the Nation of Islam had killed Minister Malcolm, they would say so. When Farrakhan had already admitted that he was a part of the killing of Minister Malcolm X, when he said that the words that he spoke was complicit in the death of Minister Malcolm X. If you go back to the paper, Muhammad Speaks, and go on Google, you will find out that Farrakhan wrote an article in Muhammad Speak in the article was ran several times in the 1960s, where Farrakhan said, I believe it was may have been 1963 or 64, where name of the article was called Hypocrite. The name of the article in Muhammad Speak was called Hypocrite, written by Louis Farrakhan or Louis X, where he said such a man as Malcolm is worthy of death. Such a man as Malcolm is worthy of death. The man bragged about killing Farrakhan. The man Farrakhan bragged about killing Minister Malcolm and praised Minister Malcolm's killers. He praised Minister Malcolm killers. The FBI and the CIA aided Minister Farrakhan and the other Muslims that killed Minister Malcolm, and they're getting down to the truth. But they'll never admit it until he's dead. The same way that they admitted that Gordon Parks was taking pictures and of the Audubon Ballroom, taking pictures of the civil rights movement and all of these places where Dr. King would be and Minister Malcolm would be right before King gets shot. And then 30 years later, after Gordon Parks died, they admitted that Gordon Parks was a CIA informant. That's a fact. All you got to do is look, brothers and sisters. The white man would never have anyone in front of you and give him credit if he is not responsible for putting him there. Because his whole purpose is to take your confidence and put it in a black coon, a sellout, and agents that he can use to keep you oppressed. That's all you have to know. You have to know it. And it's common knowledge now. Sister Betty X, in one of the interviews I did, you can go back and find this. You can find this. Common knowledge. Sister Betty X also admitted that Farrakhan was one of the individuals that was responsible for the death of Minister Malcolm when he left the temple in Boston and came to the temple in Newark, New Jersey, to plan with the men that would later leave there and go and have our brother killed in front of his family. Farrakhan never showed or embraced or had given any kind of solace to our sister Betty, nor the children. To this day, brothers and sisters, to this day. Now, if you love a man so much the way that you said you love him, isn't that your responsibility as a Muslim and a good Muslim to show them love? He misused the name of Elijah Muhammad in the midst of the confusion that he and Wallace Waruddin Muhammad had caused to misguide and darken our brother's path and to cause trouble between Minister Malcolm and the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. This is common knowledge. Other Muslims know it. Other Muslims know it. And so Nuri doesn't know. He's under the haze. He's under the haze. But one thing is for sure, he is an agent that is under the haze and is being paid and controlled by Minister Farrakhan, handpicked to mislead the people. To mislead the people. Farrakhan was set in the place of Minister Malcolm for Minister Malcolm to pick him and bring him into the nation. He was set from the very beginning as a CIA agent. And that's a fact. His job was to dismantle the Nation of Islam along with Wallace Waradin Muhammad. And if you look at Wallace Waradin Muhammad, he created an American version of international Islam that is no longer operative, no longer powerful. If you look at the Nation of Islam under Minister Farrakhan, you will see a Nation of Islam that is no longer profitable, no longer powerful. And it is dying every day. That's a fact, brothers and sisters. And Nuri Muhammad is teaching the same knowledge. When you see Wesley Muhammad teaching the same knowledge, when you see Mustafa Muhammad, he worked directly for the Harvey, Illinois Police Department, teaching the same knowledge that his dad is teaching. And what's worse, brothers and sisters, he's an FOI that is a part of the police force. He's FOI as part of the police force. And you can look on the web and find out that your brother is not in error when he says this. So the knowledge is out there. It's not hard to find. But what is the job? The job is to dismantle the teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. Elijah Muhammad is the key. Brothers and sisters, Elijah Muhammad is the key to understanding the Nation of Islam and its philosophy to build black people. Malcolm X wasn't the key. He was the standard for Muslims when he was in the Nation of Islam, but Elijah Muhammad is the key. Louis Farrakhan admitted that in 1975, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad had been poisoned. Brothers and sisters, I did the research and have a book out called Who Killed Minister Malcolm X and Why? And you'll find out in part 2 of that edition that there are actual facts and records that the police, the doctors, and the federal government has in the Freedom of Information Act, where they were giving the most honorable Elijah Muhammad cortisone. And cortisone, the first thing that it does is blow up the face, and it also poisons the system because it's filled with steroids. This is a fact. So that tells you that they don't even know who they're following. A murderer that sent James Best to kill Dr. Khalid Muhammad. Sent him to kill Dr. Khalid Muhammad. And brothers and sisters, I want to tell you, and this is something that you must know. This is what you must know, that the federal government is behind the dismantling of any powerful black group that's going to give black people the truth. That's going to give black people the truth. And all you have to do is Google my name. You can find out whatever you want to find out from me. Just Google it. You can find out whatever you want to find out. It's out there. And whatever you don't know, I'm an open book. I'm an open book. And you need to be when you're with black people, calling yourself leading them. But you can never trust any black man that's out to kill another black man for whatever reason. You can't trust that, brothers and sisters. We can't just blame the federal government. We just can't blame the federal government. You listen to, that's right, brother Larry. You listen to Lance Shabazz, he putting out the same truth. Lance Shabazz has been saying it for years. And other Muslims have given him that. And not only that, let's go back to Muslims that have been in the nation. Lucius L. Bey was, before he passed, if he's still alive, I believe he's passed, was 108. And this was one of the men that trained Minister Malcolm. One of the men that trained Minister Malcolm that told you and told me the same thing. And you look, and he even says it on one of the recordings that they have. He says that Louis Farrakhan was involved. Who else claims it that worked with Minister Malcolm X? John Henry Clark worked with Minister Malcolm X that could tell you the very same thing. I'm not saying any new knowledge, brothers and sisters. I'm telling you what's already out there so you know. I'm just telling you so you know. And why do I tell you? Because I love the black race too much to let coons and goons like Minister Farrakhan and all the other agents that he's using to mislead you to run us amok and lead us astray. I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it. So this truth is out there. I could tell you some things about the Breakfast Club. We're going to talk about them too. Charlemagne the God, how he was a pedophile that was arrested for taking advantage of young girls, never did a day in jail. Now, when have you seen a white man that has never arrested a black man for doing a crime like that? A crime that has no statutes of a limitation. And they kept him out of jail. And if you look at Charlemagne the God, one of Nuri's best friends, you'll find out that he'll attack anybody speaking black nationalism. He will attack them. Same way he did Monique. He will attack them. The same way he tried to instigate with Boosie, he will attack them. I'm telling you, brothers, you got to see that. You name me any black person that is in front. You name me any black person that is in front. And I would tell you to investigate, because most of the time, black people that are in front, that have been put in front by the white man, that have been given all of this money and all of these advantages to put the knowledge out of the white man, then I'll tell you somebody or show you somebody that is usually an agent being used by the white man to oppress our people. That's a fact. Nuri Muhammad puts out a book that sold millions of copies. Now, brothers and sisters, when have you seen some of the most beautiful and most gifted writers, including Maya Angelou, even Dr. King, that have written books that have sold millions of copies from an unknown, and he's basically unknown to the known world. Nuri Muhammad is. He may be known among Muslims, but he's basically unknown among the known world. He may be known amongst black nationalists, but he's hardly known amongst white people. Brothers and sisters, don't you know? Don't you know? And this, I'm on a mission to save the lives of black people. That's my mission. That's the mission that God gave me, to save the lives of black people. You can't sell out saving the lives of black people. You can't do it. I must be crazy. I could be seeing patients. I must be crazy or out of my mind. Or either I love black people so much, till I know that without them, I can't be successful even as a clinician. Because I got enough sense not to try to see white people, because I think these devils will always turn on black people. I don't care what your business is, what your currency. The minute that a white person get involved, I don't care if you're seeing them as a patient. The minute they get involved, they're ready to destroy anything that you're doing, because they're losing everything, and everything is dropping around you. Everything is dropping around them. Everything is dropping around them. And so it doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me, because I'm going to tell this truth until I can't say it no more. I've been born to give the white man hell from the cradle to the grave, and by God, I'm going to do that. With the power of the Almighty God Allah, I'm going to do that. You can say Jesus. You can say Allah. You could say Jehovah. Whatever you want. But I'm going to give that white man hell, and I'm going to give his goons hell. Also, I want you to know something, brothers and sisters. I want you to know that many Muslims now, you got at least 5% of the Muslims, maybe even 7% of them now. You'll find that many of them are marrying white women that are calling themselves black. They're called themselves black, and they got Jane Elliott, another white she-devil, running before you and I, calling white people black people. She said there's no such thing as white people, because all of us come from Africa. These devils are sending out everybody. They're sending out everybody to confuse and misuse I, to confuse and misuse you, to confuse and misuse us. They want to confuse us because they already know that judgment day is here. They already know it. They already know it. You ain't got to march around the country. All you got to do is decide to protect your family and blow the head off the first devil that comes toward your family. You ain't got to march. You ain't got to do it. Farrakhan march is crazy. It's crazy. Farrakhan marched in Washington, D.C., did the same thing Martin Luther King did, only as a nation minister, and hadn't bust one grape in a fruit fight. Not one. Hadn't told his men to arm up, and we're being killed across the country. He won't even tell Muslim to arm themselves. Nuri won't do it. Wesley won't do it. Ismail won't do it. Mustafa won't do it. How the hell are you going to have an army talking about protecting black people and having a military to protect black people, and you don't have the arms to do it? If you get a land of your own, if you get a currency of your own, you get your own constitution, and you get your own laws, you won't be able to keep it if you don't get a military to defend you, defend the rights of your people, and defend your country. The white man is not going to talk any foolishness, telling his brothers and sisters not to arm themselves in this late date. Not going to do it. When you even got the white, lowliest, dirty, stinking, dirty, white, trashy cracker carrying arms and got them going in to kill you. And that's what any kingdom does. If you played the game of chess, that kingdom will send its pawns out first. Is that right? If you can play chess, you send the pawns out first. And once you send those pawns out, and they make all the advantages they can, then after that, you begin to send your knights. You begin to send your knights. Your knights get in position to make sure that the rooks are in place so that you can get ready to prepare this game. Because your purpose at that point is to protect, to protect those that are in power, to protect your king and queen that is in power. Isn't that right? For all the chess players? And so you got to understand that the police and the white trashy nationalists are just the lower end of the totem pole. I want you to know that you'll find out that the white priest will be the main one sending his parishioners out to kill you and I. And this is the same one that sells you white nationalism. Same one selling you white nationalism will be the same one to send white folks out to start killing you. White people that look like they love you. And this is the reason why you can't accept it that Farrakhan has told white people they can come in the nation. Brothers and sisters, this is heresy. He is a madman that is setting us up. That's right, Brother Kenneth. Setting us up for the big fall. Greetings, Brother Ital. Greetings, Brother Ital. Greetings. He's setting us up. And that's why we have to be ready with armies. We have to already be ready with these meetings. And we're so late in the game that we ain't even got to be quiet no more. The man needs to know that we're organizing right in his face. You ain't got to be quiet no more because he's killing you. You ain't got time to meet privately. You ain't got time to be marching around the country. You got to strengthen your strongholds where you are. What is your stronghold? If you're in a house and you got a wife and children, then you protect that house. If you're in a community, in the projects, where you got your sisters and your brothers and your children, you stand on the corners and you protect that project. No matter where you are, if you're in the country, and you have black brothers and sisters around there and you're married, you protect yourself out in the country. You protect yourself in the suburbs, no matter where you are. And if you're in the white community, if you're dumb enough to have moved with these devils, by God, get out. Get out as quick as you can. Get out as quick as you can if you're in the white community. Because the white man is going to take the first nigger you'll see. When common white folks start killing, they already got the trash killing. Now they're moving up to middle class. They're moving up to the middle class to start killing. And when they start killing, they're going to start killing the first black people that thought they was an exception in the white community. All you got to do is pay attention to what's going on. All you got to do is pay attention to what's going on. Brothers and sisters, don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe and thumbs up. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and thumbs up. But brothers and sisters, the time that you and I are in, Brother Brian, if you research that, you'll find what mosque I come from. I'm an open book. All of that stuff is online. All you got to do is research, brother. We're doing some real teaching. I can't babysit you and burp you. Too late in the game for you to be that dumb. Too late in the game, brother. Why don't you research so you can find out? While you at it, research your own leader. Minister Farrakhan, your own leader. Research your own leader. And so you have to understand that we're caught in a trap. We are caught in a trap, brothers and sisters. And the only way that we're going to get out of it is that you and I stand and do the will of God, which tells us to protect our wives, protect our children, protect our wives, protect our children, protect our wives, protect our children. Brothers and sisters, listen to me. In case you missed it, your job is to protect your wife and your children. If you got a woman that you're with, that's your wife. If you got children, that's your children. And you should arm yourself and protect yourself. They should know how to use weapons in this late day. Because if you don't get together, pretty soon you'll see they'll start dropping bombs on us. All you got to do is look. All you got to do is wait and see. If you stay docile, you'll find out that they'll start dropping bombs on us. Now look, let me tell you this. If you'll look, brothers and sisters, all you got to do is look. If you'll look, you'll find that in Tulsa, Oklahoma, they had everything they needed in Tulsa. They had everything they needed in Elaine, Arkansas. They had everything they needed in Central Park, New York, which was so many other black towns, at least 200 or 300 black successful towns that had grown up, that had made their way financially, that were independent, that were strong. The white man bombed these places and buried them underground and built parks and cities over them. All you got to do is look. They bombed them. They broke dams and ran water through the towns, drowning people by the millions. And all you got to do is look. You think the white man won't do that to us today? What do you think the white man's end game? Do you honestly think the white man would put us in slavery, oppress us, breed us like animals? After he breed us like animals, beat us, rape our women, rape our men, rape our boys, rape our girls. He would do all of these things. All of these things. Put us in a position where he makes money off of us again in sharecropping, which became the new slavery. Then create the prison system and use that for free labor, paying people 12 and 15 cents to do jobs, take us and oppress us on the jobs, pay us low minimum wage, and see you and I come up from all of that and make it? You think that he'll leave us alive to be successful? You're out of your mind. You think that he's not setting sellout coons in place like Louis Farrakhan and his agents, like Al Sharpton, like Benjamin Crump? You think he's not setting them up in place to betray us, where he's going to bomb us if we don't get organized, kill us, shoot us down? Because it was government men that bombed Tulsa, Oklahoma. Government men did that. Government men shot down black men and women in Elaine, Arkansas. Government men did that. Government men drowned out Louisiana. Government men did that. Government men sabotaged every black state, every black town that was successful in America. Government men did that. Government men destroyed what the Garveyites built because they didn't have armies that had guns that was willing to use them. The white man's job and his house niggas' job is to destroy you and I, brothers and sisters. That's his end game. That's his goal. And that's right, brother R.A. Facts. That's right. Private prison. Proof of which, Michael Jordan, one of the biggest coons you'll ever find in your life, who left a successful black woman of law, who was in law, who made, I believe his first wife's name was Linda. He's had a lot of them since then. Who made his deal with Chicago, who helped fashion his first shoe, who helped fashion his first business, Air Jordan, Michael Jordan, this devil, put away our sister. There was a black nationalist, a black power sister that was helping to defend young black brothers and sisters that were under the system in Chicago. Michael Jordan left that sister, opened up prisons, and began to put in more black people in prison than the white man could ever put in there, and have them to do cheap labor, if not free labor, to make Jordans and other t-shirts and Hanes, other investment that he has, and he makes it a revolving door, paying millions and billions of dollars to keep our brothers and sisters enslaved. And if you check the record, you'll find out that this is true. And there are many other black people and white people that own black prisons. It's a shame. Just the other day, brothers and sisters, I read somewhere, and I have to check it to find it. If anybody can find it, please let me know. Please let me know that there are entertainers now that are looking at investing in black prisons. It's a shame, brothers and sisters. Black entertainers looking forward to investing into black prisons. Black people, the same as you had during slavery, and I hate to say it, I hate to admit it, black people who own slaves. Now, don't you know if black people that will buy into a system will feel comfortable receiving money from that system, that they're going to fight to keep that system alive? Come on, brothers and sisters. It's too late in the game for you to be thinking like this. They're doing the white man's job for them. That's right, Brother Clarence. Brother Facts, R.A. Facts, they're perpetuating our oppressors' behavior. Anytime you have a white slave, this is what he does. This is what he does. And brothers, I want you to know that after slavery was over, the white man was killing slaves like it was going out of style. And the white man was killing his house niggas when slavery went out of style, because he didn't want to see any of them progress to the place of independence. Nuri Muhammad, Wesley Muhammad, Mustafa Muhammad, Ismail Muhammad, Farrakhan, who's calling himself Louis X. Farrakhan Muhammad now. He's calling himself Louis Farrakhan Muhammad. He said Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad gave him this name. Another thing he's come up with. All of them are investors into white nationalism. Every last one of them. If you look, and all you have to do is check. I've been in the Muslim movement since 1986. Was brought in by Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad, one of the best Muslims that ever came through to do it, and one of the best black nationalists that this world has ever seen, that had a true answer for liberation for our people because he wasn't afraid to fight. I was in that long. And when that time that I was in, I saw the minister's daughter who had married, or rather the minister's son. The minister's son who had married a white devil, and the minister had pure knowledge of it. Yet you seen this devil around them, accompanying them, because in 1985 and 86, it got so bad that he had to come up and say one day white people would be allowed to join the Nation of Islam. Why? Because his son was already seeing white women just like other Muslims, black Muslims, have white wives calling themselves black. Brothers and sisters, don't you know I couldn't be a part of something like that? That we have to be involved in something that the white man can't get in. You and I have to be involved in something that the white man can't get in. Every time you turn around, he's trying to get in. And we have to keep him out. Because if you got the enemy among you, you will never fight or win this revolution. You're right, Brother Clarence. There's a snow bunny crisis going on in the Nation of Islam under Minister Louis Farrakhan. White sisters, or rather white Muslims, I can't call them sisters, white she-devils trying to say that they're black, marrying black Muslim brothers and producing children with both genes that are coming aboard. I told you about that coffee. When it has any of that cream and sugar in it, it's not powerful anymore. And they're producing these kinds of people and bringing them in, and they're docile. You look at every Muslim holding post on the Farrakhan, 98% of them are buttermilk colored Muslims with white mothers. 98% are buttermilk colored Muslims because Muslims under his guide had married white women. His son wasn't the only one. His son wasn't the only one. But that is what he's beginning to teach. And you'll hear him, Farrakhan is slick. He's a seducer. I said he's a charmer. I'm going to speak my mind because I know what he is. And if you look at Farrakhan, he'll tell you, if you listen, he'll say, well, he said, Master Fard Muhammad had a white mother. Yeah, Master Fard Muhammad had a white mother. We can't deny that. But Master Fard Muhammad was the same one that told you that the white man and the white woman is a devil. And I think he is better qualified to tell me that the white woman and white man is a devil since he had a devilish mother. He could tell me that. But I won't listen to this foolishness for you to misuse it and to have black men marrying these white women and cooling off an otherwise ignited and powerful black organization. But I told you he was an agent. He's an agent. And his job, what is his job? His job is to dismantle the teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, proof of which Farrakhan brought in Dianetics, which is the teachings of a white devil called L. Ron Hubbard. To audit his own people, he used the philosophy of a white devil. Farrakhan says, and Nuri Muhammad bags him up, Wesley Muhammad bags him up, Mustafa Muhammad bags him up, Ishmael Muhammad bags him up, who also has a white wife, Ishmael, calling herself black. They bag it up, if I make no mistake, if he hasn't remarried. They bag Farrakhan up when he says that Father Flager is his friend. A white pedophile Roman Catholic priest who is from an organization that first enslaved you and I under Europe. Along with white Jews, Zionist Jews, that have taken the place of true Jews that should be occupying Palestine. Brothers and sisters, I appreciate your patience. I appreciate you for entertaining me this hour and 43 minutes. I appreciate that. And tomorrow we'll be on again talking about getting a little bit stronger and deeper down the rabbit hole, because we'll be talking about our position and where we are, what we must do. Don't forget the thumbs up and like. Brothers and sisters, please, thumbs up, like, and subscribe. And don't worry about these agents when they come on here, Farrakhan's agents. Don't worry about them. Y'all just keep standing strong with me, and we'll fight them together. We'll use the truth to fight them, because we won't hurt our brothers. We don't believe in that. I appreciate you too, dear sister. Appreciate all of you all that come on. I appreciate all of you all. Brother, definitely, y'all get the replay. If you don't have it all, get the replay and just study. Anything that I'm telling you, I'm going to always tell you after I've done thorough research. The white man will never put anybody in front of you. Never put anyone in front of you that he can't use. And that's the key. That's the standard. That's what you're judging by. All you got to do is pay attention to that. You see a black man that is rising fast and all of that and getting above. Monique already told you. Didn't Monique tell you that? Monique told you that not a bunch of black sellouts in Hollywood and anybody on top is because the white man put him there. She's already told you that. She's already told you. I haven't had the pleasure to meet that sister, So she and I didn't collaborate. Lance Shabazz is older than me, so he and I didn't collaborate. Lucius L. Bay is much older than I am. We didn't collaborate, and they all came with the same truth. The Most Honorable Khalid Muhammad, who was a dedicated Muslim to the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, began to straighten out Farrakhan when he began to misstep. And brothers and sisters, that is the reason that he is out of, or he was put out before they assassinated him. That is the reason he was put out of the Muslim movement as it relates to Minister Farrakhan, because he began to straighten Farrakhan out about Muslims seeing these white women calling themselves black using mantan, but you could look at them and tell that they were not white, but they were black. And if you search the record and talk to other Muslims that day, they'll tell you the truth. They will tell you the same thing that I'm telling you, and there are many others that are out there that can tell you the same thing anyway. And so, brothers and sisters, all you have to do is pay attention. All you have to do is pay attention. And we have to speak this knowledge. Our people won't be saved. Our people won't be saved if we don't teach this knowledge. Our people won't be saved if we don't arm ourselves. They won't be saved. The Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, we don't carry guns. That's true. Not in the temple. We don't carry guns when we're doing the work of Allah for the temple. We don't carry guns when we're attached to the temple. But we will carry a gun to protect our family. We will carry a gun to protect our daughters and sons. We will carry a gun to protect our community because we're soldiers, and real soldiers. Real soldiers. No, we don't carry guns in the temple. I say again, we don't carry guns in the temple. We don't carry guns doing temple business. We won't do that. We don't carry guns when we're connected with the temple. But you're a fool to think, if you're white or you're black, you're a fool to think we'll let you come in our house and shoot us up and we won't have a weapon. How do you think Minister Malcolm got a weapon? He was carefully trained. Brothers and sisters, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. had a weapon. All you got to do is research it. Go to Google and research, and you'll see that the FBI and CIA said that Martin Luther King had a weapons arsenal in his house. I'm just telling you, brothers and sisters, I want you to know the truth. I want you to know the truth. Don't forget, brothers and sisters, please. Don't forget to send any donation to help us. We're trying to sell at least 10 books this month. We've gotten 3 sold. So we're trying to sell 7 more books from the site. And I put the site, a support site at the top for you to be able to do that. If you just want to donate, you can donate as well to Liberation Group, and I'll put that in the message box so you can see that. And it doesn't matter what you send us. Nobody has asked for a book, but if you want to, no matter what you send, I don't care if it's 50 cents, we'll send you that book, because our job is to put out the truth. All you have to do when you go on the page where it says support the movement, at the very top, I pinned it at the very top of the chat. And when you go on that page, you go on the bottom, you'll see where it has my email and information all the way at the bottom. You'll see it, and all you have to do is get that email and send me your email if you want a book, and I'll send that email back. If there's any of you that have already requested a book, please, brothers and sisters, go to that email and send your email to my email and tell me the book that you want, and tell me your donation just to let me know that you donated. I will make sure that I sent you that book, so you'll have these truths. And this is perfect research, because I want you to know. So, brothers and sisters, I appreciate you very much. I appreciate you, and I'll continue to speak this truth. And I ask you to continue to support us. Continue to support us. I appreciate the support that you've given to this channel to make it successful. And I hope that I've said something to inspire you. And I hope that when you look at the white man, you're not afraid of him, because he's nothing but a coward. And if he wasn't a coward, he wouldn't gang up on you. He wouldn't shoot you unaware. He wouldn't sneak in on you. If he was a man, he'd face you off. But he won't do that, because he's nothing but a coward. And only a coward will enslave you. But God has called us to be free and liberated. I say unto you, Assalamu alaikum. And peace be unto you, brothers and sisters.